Death is such a taboo subject. I think ignorance is not bliss when it comes to death.
I had two daughters. One was born in 66 and the other one in 72. Both very motivated, intelligent, beautiful young women who sadly inherited the genetic disorder that my husband had. Because this is a neurodegenerative disease, they were quite capable of doing quite a few things, but then had reached a point of they needed 24-hour care. And we had a team, I believe, at one stage of 12. At that time, when they had to kind of step up and do more for the girls, I wasn't receiving really much communication. There were no files to say who was coming, who was going, and I questioned that. I felt that needed to be put in place, not just for my daughters, but for the support workers.
Avivo is pretty unique because we work with people from childhood through to end of life. We wouldn't class ourselves as specialists in palliative care or end of life care, but what we do pride ourselves on is we work with people to the end of their life and we need to know what we're doing. Grace Buchanan is a specialist in end of life palliative care, and Grace approached us to kind of explore what should an organisation like Avivo be doing and thinking about in relation to end of life.
Grace asked us, what's Avivo's strategy for palliative and end-of-life care? And we all kind of looked at each other and thought, well, we've been in this business for, 50 plus years, and we've cared for people for their whole of life, but we haven't been specifically focused and intentional about their death.
Support workers carry a much heavier emotional load than we suspect. So I think there were a lot of people struggling with confusion, like a lack of clarity on what their role was.
I said to Avivo, the support workers are not palliative nurses, they are support workers. So how were they going to be helped with this?
I obviously know people die, but to go through that when it's someone that you supported and you cared for, you advocated for. We'd expected her death, but then when it actually happened, it was really, really hard, and I didn't expect it to be as difficult to go through.
One of the first things we started doing was something called a death review. And a death review is an online meeting that happens with myself and the team that supported the customer. And we use the Gibbs reflective cycle, which is what happened, how did you feel, what was good and bad about the person's death, what have we learned and what are we going to do differently next time.
So my first death review was very nerve-wracking. I think I even cried a few times, but down to my fourth or fifth one now, I go in knowing that we're there to support each other and, have that bond over the customer and take learnings from it so we can implement that for the next time.
We've actually done 75 of those to date, and we've been learning so much, and that's probably the thing that's had the single biggest impact to date.
I think that building the reflective muscle in our support workers makes a difference for how they support people to live life as well as at end of life. An advanced health directive is a legal document that a person's wishes about treatment that they may or may not want to have can be outlined. It's in the event that they're unable to communicate or make decisions. It's future-proofing.
There is this process in place, so we know how to create a guideline for our support workers, laminate the Advanced Health Directive, put it in a place that is for everyone easy to access, and just follow a little script, I would say, for when we have to call the paramedics. Anyone else in the house now will know what to do, not just our support workers.
Voluntary assisted dying is legal in Western Australia, and in terms of the law with our support workers and all of us who work in the sector, we're never allowed to initiate the conversation about voluntary assisted dying. We're never allowed to suggest it, and we cannot influence the customer in any way because coercion's a real thing.
There's an okay and not okay sheet where we're told what's okay to say and what's not okay, and just keeping those boundaries in place, but supporting them in the way of, we understand what's happening and we're here to help until that end of life.
Proactive planning is quite an involved process. I got a document with lots of questions for support workers to answer, and that spreadsheet then included questions like going over guaranteed hours, going over how do the support workers want to be informed, when Tracy is dying, is there any particular cultural consideration? Just to get a bit of an idea of where people are standing.
We had a team chat to go through what happens if someone dies. And I've had one experience. She hadn't been well, so we had already talked about, this is a possibility. Are we prepared? What does it look like if it does happen? Which is exactly what happened. The support worker arrived and she'd sadly died. And straight away the support worker knew what to do, to call the ambulance, to call the police, to call myself. And I immediately went to her to stay with her.
Whilst it's a big piece of paper, those individual conversations help prepare people. Do you remember how mental health used to be taboo so many years ago and it now isn't? We talk about mental health really freely. We talk about psychosocial safety all the time. Death needs to be more like that.
I think I feel a little bit more at ease talking about death in general. Before, I think because no one was really mentioning it when it was happening, especially if you had to walk in someone that just passed away, would have been such a traumatic situation. Well, now we are openly talking about it and we know what to do when that happens.
I didn't feel like it would happen. I thought that was just something that another team would deal with, that, we would not go through that, which is such a silly way to think because we care for people that are aging, but you just don't ever think that that's someone's time that you see.
I think what Avivo did really well was to come on that journey with me from the initial stages of, oh my goodness, this is not working. They worked with me on that. And I like to think I didn't walk away.
If we can reduce uncertainty and create confidence, then we're doing a good job.
It is an essential part of life, it's common to all of us, and we have the honour or the privilege of being able to really sit down with people and think through, how do you want this phase to go? Inevitably, what we learn is, certainly for our customers, staying in their own home and dying at home is really important. And what a privilege that we get to really have those conversations with people and then design the support in a way that makes sure that people end their life in a way that they want to.
It means so much that the way my daughters were able to die with dignity at home has been such a blessing to think that that wasn't in vain. Support workers are there to do a very difficult job. And if you can have trust and respect, which I did, in fact, I felt they were almost like my extended family. I could never thank them enough for the care that they gave.